Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I am Dante Nieri from Lima, Peru, and I represent the Peruvian Society of Sports and Exercise Psychology Subside. Mental health is a necessity not just in performance, according to scientific evidence of the sport of these times. First of all, the athlete is a person. It's a global and long-term necessity. In recent years, several examples of elite athletes experiencing mental health and mental illness problems. They need a balance between physical and psychological areas. Peak physical health is not necessarily equal to a peak mental health. The world context of COVID-19 created a special necessity to take care of the mental health of athletes. This is an unimaginable context. It is globally shared with lack of prior knowledge of research on pandemic and COVID-19. There are external and internal elements. The external are local, national, and international regulations, quarantine, cessation of events, social isolation, economic difficulties, and training. Internal are personal reactions like frustration, fear, depression, anxiety, hopelessness, or conversely, high determination or motivation in response. Challenge measure outside the sport field, social isolation, reorganization of planning and calendar, possibility of serious injury, double nature, unpleasant for some, unpleasant for others. In the Peruvian context, has developed a pandemic officially since March 6 of 2020. Quarantines, it has oscillated between long and rigid in the beginning to the present with limited freedoms, generating an economic and political crisis, increment in poverty, the already precarious state health system worsened, overinformation and misinformation, uncertainties and its psychological effects, concern, heartaches, fears of contracting the virus, developing symptoms, and dying both loved ones and oneself, sport career to mention the most relevant. Increasing depression and anxiety, difficulty concentrating and sleeping, decreased motivation, and increased hopelessness. Political conflicts for presidents and to Congress in the period 2016-2021, misrule, corruption, difficulties buying, shipping, and delivering vaccines, change of president 2021 with a polarized country. Changes in habits, beliefs, traditions, way of working, and way of training. The old notion of winning at any cost is incompatible with mental health. Mental health is a core element of the culture of excellence. There is a stigma that athletes have an indestructible psyche and their mental health has not been taken care of. The subject is complex and there is no single solution generalizable to all. There are different and multiple contexts like sports, countries, cultures, and athletes. The normal experience in sport and in life have range of emotions. Mental health and mental illness in sport it is a dynamic life experience with life challenge ups and downs with a full range of emotions. We have to distinguish between clinical mental disorder with a diagnostic criteria, subclinical mental illness, it does not meet all the diagnostic criteria, human conditions, experience of adversity, unpleasant thoughts and emotions as consequence of a full life, athlete conditions, performance anxiety, and consequences of sport. We found in the athlete life specific in sport some stressors like overtraining, injuries, coaching style, success expectations of others, transitions through and out of the sport. The mental health and mental illness in athletes is equal or higher than in general population. The conceptualized mental health it is individual race, gender, and ethnic, environmental, national, political, and sport-specific development, age, career, phase. Mental health is more than an absence of mental illness. Mental health and mental illness are two separate continuums. And mental health and athletic performance is a continuum too. Active mental illness with a diagnostic criteria, subsyndrome illness, frequent symptoms, normal functioning, occasional symptoms, good mental health, asymptomatic, and peak performance, flow or zone states. In mental health in sport, we can find depression, anxiety, eating disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, obsessive compulsive behavior. The factors that can complicate mental illness in sport are athletic identity, competitive anxiety, eating, weight requirements, sleep, recovery, competition, and travel schedules. The Sport Psych Mapping is a framework to conduct an exploratory interview that is adaptable and versatile to allow to create the mental map of the client of his psychological reality from a holistic perspective. I will present some pertinent proposals for the sports. First, the CBT is a well-known framework used in sports psychology. The model of Beck worked with his cognitive schemas, values, cognitive distortions, automatic thoughts, and the rational emotional behavioral therapy work with irrational ideas, action, and ABCDE to intervene that has been used in general and also specifically in sports. Another interesting option specific for sport is the proposal of Dr. Brad Donahue with the program TOPS, the optimum performance program in sports that include functional analysis. Second, the mindfulness. John Kabat-Zinn referred that mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment intentionally and without judgment. There are different programs in sports, like the proposal of Gardner and Moore with the MAC program, Mindfulness, Acceptance and Commitment, the Meditation Training for Sport, MMTS of Balsell and Akhtar, and the Mindful Sport Performance Enhancements, MSPE by Kaufman, Glass, and Pinot. The last is the eye movement desensitization reprocessing EMDR. It's a psychotherapeutic approach created by Dr. Francine Shapiro to treat PTSD, then evolving to different mental illness such as grief, depression, anxiety pathologies in general, originated from unpleasant and processing experience, and finally also expanding its spectrum to adverse situations where performance and sport have been included. Our proposal is, at the first level, is evaluated with the Sport Psych Mapping tool, which gives us a general, broad, concrete, accurate, effective, and fast view. In the second level, we use the CBT. If we consider necessary, we can use it in the beginning to obtain more information with functional analysis of the person and or the sport, behavior observation, self-register, and then generate a plan according to the psycho-sporting needs, such as the motivation, thoughts. Here we can see cognitive restructuring, mental maps, and filter, and or ABCDE, stress, anxiety, arousal, attention, concentration, for mention some important variables. Psychoeducation is provided, techniques are taught, and specific routines are developed and implemented for needs. At the third level, it goes deeper with mindfulness, although is also beginning with a facile line with the previous level because it works on psychological skills such as emotional regulations and attention concentrations. And likewise, it is a facilitator of flow, allows to find deeper patterns, improve mental health and quality of life, inside and outside of the sport. At the last level, it allows us to give even deeper, to see issue of adversity, even trauma, which are also in sport, within the activity and outside, as well as an issue of mental health and mental illness, taking care of the quality of life of the athlete, collaborating along with their quality of life at the same time with their performance. It is a compassionate and efficient approach. This proposal pretends to meet the performance needs such as mental health and mental illness. These are the references that I used for the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.